Hello. We continue the series of interviews from Devoxx France, and we would like to continue the discussion with Julien Dubois. But now we have slightly different topic. So we already discussed GitHub Actions, dependency submission actions, and quite a lot of things. But today I suggest to delve deeper and to discuss what are you doing with the Microsoft Developer Drive and resolve build caching on your side. As you know, in Gradle, with the velocity domain, we do quite a lot of caching. So it's nice to compare the nodes from different platforms. So could you please describe the project?
Yeah, I think you say yes, that's a bit of the magic of Devoxx, because we realized we were working a bit together before, and we're working on something called Windows Dev Drive with Gradle. And so I work for Microsoft, so of course we do Windows. And that's a little bit, I don't know, a bit of luck to meet and discuss about Windows Dev Drive. So I was meeting with some people, doing Windows Dev Drive at Microsoft, because that's my day job. And they told me, so that's improving the performance of build a lot for .NET project, because they're doing Windows. I was like, yeah, but that should improve the build of, let's say, all projects. Like basically we all do the same thing. And so Windows Dev Drive, it's a new option in Windows 11. You just basically click on a button and you have a specific drive, which is called the Dev Drive. So it's like a CD drive, not a normal drive, but it's faster for building because it's got a specific file system. It doesn't have the antivirus working the same way. And basically the I/O is much better. It's meant for developers. So it works usually very good for people not doing Java. And for Java, we expected it was going to do the same. That's why we worked together, we had a look. The biggest configuration to do is very simple. It's basically you need to have your repository, your cache, you need to have it on the Dev Drive, not just your project. If you build your project on the Dev Drive, it's cool, but most of the dependencies are outside. So you need to configure them to be on the Dev Drive too. So there's one environment variable to set. If you don't, it won't work very well. If you do, you benefit from the Dev Drive, and the performance is incredibly better. We have a blog post. I'm guessing you will put it in the comments.
Yes.
The initial build is, of course, a bit long because you don't know everything, but the normal build, the thing you do day to day. The first build we have is 2 minutes with the Dev Drive, and with the Dev Drive it's 45 seconds. So of course your experience will vary depending on many things. But when you do buildings, when you use a cache, when you got lots of I/O, you read the files, you write the files, when you compile, lots of I/O, and the Dev Drive has got a much better I/O, so basically you're going to win a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And I would say that it's complementary to other types of caching. So as you mentioned, dependencies, it's a little bit tricky because you need to cache the right folders. Yeah. So it depends on your build tool, with Maven, with Gradle, with Golang. You have to configure differently. But actually other types of cache, because of course Build Drive. So for example, in Gradle we focus on task caching, etc. So we basically track dependencies. If the files didn't change, etc., we skip rebuild. But we still get to retrieve these files to check them. Sometimes it's from a remote file system, sometimes it's from GitHub repository, and this is where Microsoft Dev Drive,
by Windows Dev Drive,
Windows Dev Drive could be quite helpful. So one type of caching can actually complement another well, and I'm really looking forward to try and get together with Gradle, etc., to see what metrics we could get.
So of course it will vary depending on so many use cases. It's hard to know, but the I/O is much better. So if you're building, you're going to benefit from it. And again, it's just a small configuration, just one click and a few settings. It's totally worth trying it. You're going to waste, a few minutes to configure it, and then you might, double the speed of your build. So it's totally worth trying.
Definitely. And actually, I have a comment to make. I love Windows. I actually use Windows as my main machine. I use Windows in combination with WSL too. I benefit quite a lot from the ecosystem. Yes, I use MacBook and Linux for development, but for me, modern Windows is actually a combination not of just Windows per se, but Windows, WSL 2, Docker engine that is connected to both, with cool virtualization, Dev containers, etc. And the question is whether Windows Dev Drive helps in this environment when you go beyond the main operating system.
So it will really work when you're doing full Windows stuff. If you use WSL, I'm not really sure. I don't know. I don't think it will work very well.
Yeah, it's maybe a good experiment. Because in my case, how I usually do Windows these days, I take Visual Studio Code, again, great project. I take Dev Containers, great project, and
if you look at my demos at Devoxx, everything I do, I'm always with Dev Containers.
Yes.
Well, maybe it depends on your job. Like if you're somebody like us, like we do a lot of demos, we have new code all the time. We want to have like clean machines and to have the good exact dependencies set up everywhere. Well, Dev Containers is perfect for that. You're sure to have the exact good environment set up for you, and you're sure to have a perfectly working demo or project if you do a real project. Then, I don't know, if you're working every day for a few months on the same project, maybe it's less interesting for you because you have the time to set up everything perfectly. But for a lot of people, Dev Containers is a lifesaver. And also it runs, so what I love is I use it with GitHub code spaces. So it runs on Linux. I know we started from Windows Dev Drive, we go to Linux, but I'm using it on Linux because I can have a very powerful Linux machine on GitHub. And also I want to create Docker images for Linux. And so for that, I need a Linux host when doing VM builds.
Yeah. Hopefully I won't share any private information, but I can just tell how I use it. Dev Containers is set on Windows. My main use case is actually multiple technology stacks because as developer advocate, I'm happy if I just work with less than 5 technology stacks during one day. And it means that sometimes I have Python, Golang, Ruby. So the technology stacks that are not exactly famous for easy dependency management.
Yeah.
And what I do on these technology stacks at the moment, I take Dev Containers. I make a Dev Container with custom images. I pre-install all the dependencies like for Python, etc. And my next step is actually expanding it because, for example, for me, common use case is documentation websites. I really like MK Docs, I really like Antora, again, different technology stacks. But for all of them, I do not want to have them locally. And instead of that, I build Dev Container that caches it, have a local development environment. And then basically I have the same Dev Container image. I put it into GitHub Actions because the same Docker image can be executed from GitHub Actions. So basically I have an image that has continuous delivery pipeline on GitHub Actions. And then I use it locally. I use it on GitHub in pipeline. And I also use it for building a production site. So basically I'm sure that the same environment is used in 3 places. And it's actually quite a good application for that.
I'm doing exactly like you. So I'm nothing to add. I'm doing the exact same thing as you with code spaces. With GitHub Actions, what I love to do also is that I have a pipeline with 3 builds with Gradle VM. 4 maybe. So, I've got Linux, I've got Windows, and macOS, the classic one and the Silicon one. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. There's a project called NewGen I work on, and we've got CLI, so it needs to work on all your machines. I need to check, but we've got at least 3, but maybe 4 builds, for all those types. I need to check where we are currently. But yeah.
Yeah, but it's a really good combination of tech.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Very useful.
For productivity, it's perfect. It saves a lot of time. Yeah. It saves a lot of time troubleshooting. And just like a sneak peek, I'm already working on Dev Container for Gradle that would be quite flexible. There is a basic Java container that supports Maven and Gradle, but it doesn't have many features included. For example, no build scan capability. That would be click a button. The environment.
Yeah, for me, it's just like a flag where you say I want to have Gradle or not. Something that's simple. Yeah, you can do more. Yeah.
It's not that simple because you also have default configurations for memory, for Gradle. And when you know the target size of the container, for example, for GitHub Actions for your environment, you can do some handy configuration that is not available by default. Oh. So I think that there are some benefits in having such out-of-the-box Dev Container samples so that people could adopt them.
Okay, yeah.
So it's one of my pet projects. Stay tuned, maybe.
Please do it. I want to use it, so please do it.
Will do. Well, the first one is actually MK Docs, but then it will be Gradle one. And going back to Microsoft Developer Drive. So you mentioned .NET, you mentioned Java. Any other technology stacks you experiment with?
Also, in the team I'm in, we have in fact 4 teams. There's one doing .NET, one doing Java, one doing JavaScript, and one doing Python. So all the main languages, and of course we have people doing, let's say, less popular languages like Go, Rust, and everything. But that's all. I mean.
So basically, the technology itself is Microsoft Dev Drive is technology agnostic. So as long as your environment is configured properly, it should work.
Oh yeah, no. So everything we do, I mean, the goal at Microsoft is to help all developers. So Dev Drive is here to help, for all technologies. But same as like when we work on containers or on Kubernetes, the goal is that you can package all those tools in the container that will run perfectly well on Azure typically.
Yeah.
And my goal, and this is the goal of the team I work with, is to help developers to be more productive and deploy faster. And then, of course, it's better if they run it on a Microsoft product.
Do you have plans for enabling Microsoft Build Cache, Windows Build Cache by default on GitHub Actions or Azure DevOps?
Oh no, because it's so it's only so. Nothing I know about. No, nothing I know about. So I mean, I'm like, I don't have good information for you, but I mean, you can totally run GitHub Actions on Windows. It's one of the goals I'm using. So I have no idea why it wouldn't be possible, like to have Dev Drive on the GitHub Actions. I don't know if they use it or if they plan to use it, but yeah, that's probably something we need to have a look at.
Yeah. So it's also something to explore because when you run on the local system, when you self-manage CI, it's quite easy to set up because basically it's just a virtual file system. Yeah. But I'm not sure whether you could even set it up on GitHub Action as a part of your
not that. As a developer, you cannot do it.
Yeah.
But I have no idea if they're doing it on the server side.
So we'll see, but I would be curious to know.
Yeah.
And thanks a lot for this technology introduction. I hope soon we will publish some statistics, etc., for Gradle builds. You can already find a blog post from June last year that was initial experiments for Windows Dev Drive with Spring project, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. Also, the goal was to test with a real life project, and we took Spring because it's a big project.
Yeah.
Is it real life? I'm not sure. A lot of people are having something that big as Spring.
Yeah, so I don't think it's real life. So mostly, Spring is quite special. Also, there were many changes since Gradle build tool 8.2, which was tested. So, for example, build caching is enabled by default. There are quite a lot of performance advantages there. Now we also introduced configuration cache, which is again should be quite helpful because now configuration cache loads a lot of stuff. It could be class loaded. And for example, if build cache actually increases the calculation of file checksums, it will be a big advantage for Gradle because one of our common use cases is thousands and tens of thousands small files that we have to track, we have to calculate checksums. And if with basically Windows Dev Drive, we can do it automatically fast, thanks to caching, etc., it will be also massive performance boost. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing these numbers. And I would be happy to share them once we have it.
Yeah, we need to test again, maybe with newer versions and more realistic project. But let's continue working together. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot for this interview. And thanks for everyone watching. If you're interested, we shared quite a lot of links. And also reach out to us on Slack. There is a special channel for Windows support, etc. There are quite a lot of Microsoft folks on Gradle community Slack, so we can discuss all the things there. Thanks a lot for your time, Julien.
Thank you.
So looking forward to the next steps. Thanks.
Thank you. See you.